What if I told you that thousands of ordinary workers became millionaires almost overnight? Not celebrities, not hedge fund managers, not Silicon Valley founders. Engineers, technicians, software developers, project managers, and employees who simply showed up to work every day and believed in a company that most people thought would fail. When people talk about SpaceX, the focus is usually on rockets, innovation, and Elon Musk. But behind every successful launch is an army of employees who spent years building the company from the ground up. And when SpaceX finally reached the public markets, many of those employees saw their lives change forever. Today, we're talking about the SpaceX employee millionaires, the secret millionaires nobody is talking about. Before we begin, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. How ordinary employees built extraordinary wealth, more than just a paycheck. Most people work for a salary. Startup employees often work for something much bigger. Ownership. When SpaceX hired engineers, technicians, and programmers over the years, many received stock options or equity as part of their compensation package. Instead of being paid entirely in cash, employees were given the opportunity to own a small piece of the company they were helping build. At the time, those shares carried significant risk. There was no guarantee SpaceX would succeed. In fact, during its early years, many people believed the company would eventually fail. Understanding equity compensation is one of the most powerful wealth-building tools in modern business. When employees receive stock options, they gain the right to purchase company shares at a predetermined price. If the company's value rises dramatically, those shares can become worth far more than their original cost. This is how many startup employees build life-changing wealth. Not through salaries, but through ownership. A single employee may own only a tiny fraction of a company. However, when that company becomes worth hundreds of billions of dollars, even a small ownership stake can become incredibly valuable. The startup wealth machine, some of the largest employee wealth creation events in history, came from successful startups. Companies such as Google, Facebook, and Airbnb created thousands of employee millionaires. SpaceX followed a similar path. Employees who joined early often accepted uncertainty, long hours, and significant career risk in exchange for the possibility of future ownership gains. Years later, that decision paid off in ways few could have imagined. The liquidity event that changed everything. When paper wealth becomes real. For years, many SpaceX employees were wealthy only on paper. Their shares had value, but there was no easy way to sell them. Everything changed when public market access arrived. Suddenly, ownership became liquidity. Shares that had existed only as numbers on internal documents could now potentially be converted into real wealth. For many employees, this represented the most significant financial event of their lives. Thousands of new millionaires. Reports and estimates suggested that thousands of employees accumulated substantial wealth as SpaceX's valuation skyrocketed. Many were not senior executives. Many were not managers. They were ordinary employees who happened to participate in an extraordinary company. Engineers who spent years solving technical problems. Programmers who wrote critical software. Technicians who helped build rockets. People whose names most investors will never know. Yet their ownership stakes quietly transformed them into millionaires. The ripple effect on local economies. When thousands of people suddenly become wealthier, the effects spread far beyond the company itself. New homes are purchased. Businesses receive more customers. Investments increase. Charitable giving often rises. Entire communities can benefit from large-scale wealth creation events. Some regions that host major technology companies have experienced dramatic economic growth following employee liquidity events. The impact extends well beyond individual bank accounts. A new generation of investors. Many newly wealthy employees don't simply spend their money. They reinvest it. Some become angel investors. Others launch startups of their own. Many support the next generation of entrepreneurs. This creates a cycle where one successful company helps fund future innovation across an entire industry. Can regular people do the same? Finding wealth-creating companies. One of the biggest lessons from startup success stories is that wealth is often created long before a company becomes famous. When SpaceX was founded, very few people believed it would become one of the world's most valuable companies. The same is true for many breakthrough businesses. The challenge is identifying exceptional opportunities before everyone else sees them. The startup equity strategy. Many professionals focus entirely on salary when evaluating job offers. However, some of the greatest career opportunities include ownership. In certain situations, accepting a lower salary in exchange for meaningful equity can create far greater long-term upside. Of course, most startups fail. That risk should never be ignored. But when a startup succeeds, the rewards can be extraordinary. Public market alternatives. Not everyone can join an early-stage startup. Fortunately, public markets offer another path. Investors can build ownership stakes in innovative companies through stocks, ETFs, and long-term investment strategies. While the returns may not match an early employee position in a company like SpaceX, ownership remains one of the most powerful tools for building wealth. Building career capital. Perhaps the most important lesson is to invest in yourself. The most successful startup employees often possess valuable skills that are difficult to replace. Engineering, software development, artificial intelligence, product design, advanced manufacturing. By developing rare and valuable skills, individuals increase their chances of joining high-growth companies and participating in future wealth creation opportunities. The ownership mindset. The biggest difference between many wealthy individuals and everyone else is how they think about ownership. Employees trade time for money. Owners benefit from growth. The sooner someone understands this principle, the sooner they can begin building assets that appreciate over time. Conclusion. The hidden millionaires of SpaceX. When people discuss the success of SpaceX, they often focus on rockets, technology, and Elon Musk. But behind the headlines are thousands of employees whose lives were transformed by ownership. Many were ordinary workers. Many took significant risks. Many spent years building something they believed in. And when that belief finally paid off, they became part of one of the largest employee wealth creation stories in modern business history. What do you think about our video? Let me know in the comments below. Before you go, leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.